Artcadets, and welcome to this week's video. So if you saw last week's video, you'll know that I'm doing a big Pokemon picture, and if you didn't see last week's video, I will put a link up here so you can go and check it out. Today I'm going to add to the picture I did last week, and I have been asked by one of you to draw the Pokemon Goodra. So he's going to be in on the Pokemon picture next to Pikachu. So if you're ready, let's go! So I thought I'd mix things up and slow things down this week and show you how I actually draw the Pokemon outline itself, rather than just going into a time lapse and speeding it all up. So to start with, I drew a line at the top and the bottom of my page, as you can see, and a faint line not quite halfway down, but that's where this Pokemon Goodra's arms are going to be. So I began by just doing a rough circle for his head, and then from his neck just drawing a, what shape is that? An S shape, and down to the bottom. And then on the other side, kind of creating a teardrop shape or a pear drop shape for the rest of his body. So you can follow along and do this at the same time as me, or you can watch it and try it later. And if you don't want to follow along and do the drawing part and you've just got a colouring in page, or you just want to go straight on to the colouring in section, then you can just fast forward this section. So once I'd done the outline of the body, I then moved on to the arms. And I did these by drawing two roughly almond shapes. And once that was done, it was then time to move on to the legs. So what I like about Pokemon is that they're all fairly simple to draw, and even the more complicated ones you can simplify quite a bit. And this one, Goodra, is fairly straightforward because there's lots of sort of C shapes and S shaped curves, and I really enjoyed doing this one. So moving on to his tail then, just making sure that the tail is in line with the bottom half so that it looks as if it's joined on nicely, and then just drawing a little U shape before then doing another sweeping curve right round and joining the bottom of the tail. And as I think I've said before, it's best to do the basic outline of the shape before you put in any details, and that way if you make any mistakes or things are out of line, then you haven't lost too much and you haven't got to start again right from the beginning, and you haven't wasted lots of time making one area really nice only to then have to rub it out. So you notice on the circle I did for his head initially, I've just kind of done a little nose shape and an oval for the eye and a small U shape for his mouth. Now the fun thing about Goodra is that he has this slime coming down from his chin and from each hand. So I've just drawn that as 3 small U shapes. And then an upside down U shape for, I'm not sure if it's hair, but we'll call it hair. And then a U shape after that, just to create this sweeping hair. And then the same on the other side, but obviously you won't see all of that because he's at an angle. So nearly there now, just neatening up the shapes of the arms, and of course we've still got to do the slime dripping from either hand. And then just tidying up some of those lines, making them nice and sharp and rubbing out anything that we don't want. And that's Goodra all drawn. So I transferred my sketch onto my grey paper using the tracing paper method, and I'll put a link into the video here as well because I've also done a video on that. Once it was transferred, I then used my black fine liner just to outline the picture, make it stand out, and make it the same as Pikachu next to him. And then it was ready for the colouring in. I used my Prismacolor pencils as I did with Pikachu. I really like these because they're nice and soft and they blend really nicely as well. So I chose a few colours and used 2 shades of each colour for as much as I could with the colours I'd got, and this meant that I could put down the first main colour and use the darker colour just to do some shading in. So remember, as I've said before, that when you're colouring in with colour pencils that you need a nice sharp point and you need to do circular movements to get a really nice even and flat colour. And if you're doing different colours on top of each other, then the colours blend better if you've got more wax, crayon or pencil to blend with. So you can see now that I'm doing this darker area on top of the colours I've already done, and that just acts as the shading. And then finally I was just ready to do a little bit of white colour pencil, and I love putting white colour pencil on this grey paper because it really pops, it really stands out nicely. So just a bit of darker shading to the underside of his body and finishing off with some white gel pen, and then we were all done. Well, that's all for today, Artcadets. I hope you've enjoyed adding Goodra to our big Pokemon picture. If you have, then don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. And if you've got a Pokemon that you'd like me to add to the picture as well, don't forget to drop the name of that Pokemon in the comments box below, and maybe that's the one I'll draw next week. I'll see you then.